video, we're going to talk about how do you launch your webinar campaign in a way that allows you to not only attract but also convert your high quality lead at scale. One thing which we love about webinar is that it really allows you to not only convert in a one-to-many capacity, avoid you from going through one-on-one sales calls or having lengthy conversation in the DMs, but it also allows you to create a space where you have intimacy, you have authority that's built, you have a positioning that's enhanced, and thus allowing you to convert those prospects in a better fashion, in a way faster fashion as well. So in this video, we're really going to go over how do you go about making sure that your webinar is filled with people that have an interest in what you have to sell, because there's a bit of a sweet spot between running a webinar but actually having the webinar filled with the right people, right? So the thing that you want to do, and here we're going to talk about how to make it happen by leveraging, campaign, social media campaign and email campaign. If it's the first time you come across my content, I am Joly Tematio. I'm a business coach strategist, and I'm behind some of the biggest launch in the info product industry, because in my agency we work with coaches, consultants, online experts, and we really help them elevate their income and impact using social media ads. One thing that most of our clients actually are doing, they're selling their offer with courses, membership, mastermind through a mastermind or webinar, right? This video I really want to share with you a couple of things that you make sure that you have in place to make sure that those campaigns are profitable and successful. Now, you want to think about your campaign for your webinar have 4 goals, right? Most people think they just have one, but it doesn't have, it has 4 goals. Because the first goal of your webinar campaign is to get you known, right? You want people to know who you are. I see one of the biggest mistakes that businesses owners make is they just run ads and say, hey, here I have a webinar coming up next week, go ahead to sign up. That's not how you want to do it, because if you are running that ad to a cold audience that you want to, because you want to expand your audience at all time and for your brand awareness, you can't just run an ad with that straight direct response. You first want to get them to know you, and get them to understand why you are uniquely qualified. Really teach them through that webinar. You want to get known first, and by getting known, I'm going to get into how to make that happen. Once you are getting known, then you have the sign up, right? You want them to go ahead and register for the webinar whenever it's supposed to happen. You want them to show up. That's very important, because they say there's a difference between signing up and showing up. And once they show up, you want them to pay or enroll, and then you have the follow-up step. So now coming back to the get to know, so that you have 5 stages of your campaign. Basically, that's what your webinar campaign is supposed to, a well-designed one is supposed to make happen, right? Now, when it comes to get known, how do you get known? How do you get your brand, your message out there? Here you want to create content. You want to create content that you can either post on your social media platform, and this kind of content is supposed to be educational content, highlighting some of the myths in your industry, what they are doing wrong, something that they might be missing out, allowing them to have aha moments and getting them to be like, oh my god, I have never thought about it in this way. Oh my god, I've just learned something from this video, because the fastest way to build authority is not by showing up your fancy car or by showing yourself in a jet or by showing yourself. It's really by showing yourself in a space that commands authority. So that can maybe you've been interviewed in a fancy podcast, or let's go back to this step. Because here, when it comes to create content, you really want to, the goal of creating content here is actually to showcase your authority. And the best way to actually showcase your authority in your space and become a thought leader is not by showing up your fancy car or your fancy bag or showing yourself in a jet. It's actually by helping them, showing them that you actually have the answer to whatever question or whatever challenge they're currently going through. And so by authority positioning content here, really content that's going to highlight, be educational content, authority, mindset shift content, maybe uncovering some of their deepest concern through your content and giving them steps to actually solve whatever issue they are currently having. So that's what you want to do here. And you can, if you have any content where you're speaking on stage or being interviewed in a big podcast, those typically work really well, right? Like those mic drop moments, you can also use them. That audience, you typically will run ads, we run either video views campaign or awareness campaign to get this content pushed out to the right audience. Once that's done, this is our first type of content. We have done the second campaign, which is the sign up campaign. This is kind of top of the funnel. This is more of the bottom of the funnel. Here you actually want to target these guys with a call to action, right? Call to action to go ahead and sign up. The reason why this works really well, because this guy, once they see your campaign, your sign up campaign, they think, oh my god, I've been following this girl, I've watched her videos and I've learned so much from her. Of course, I want to get information for her masterclass. I want to watch her webinar, right? So definitely want to create this, because it builds intimacy, it builds familiarity, and it's actually easier to convert them after they've watched this content here, right here. And now is to get them to, of course, sign up for the content, but yes, for the webinar. Sign up campaign goal is really to get them to sign up for the webinar. Once they sign up, something that's going to happen is that on the day of the webinar, they might not show up. We want to make sure that they actually show up. So what we like to see, we like to have at least a 70% show up rate on a webinar, right? And the way in which you make that happen is actually by sending email campaign, right? Email reminder campaign, you typically have anywhere from 5 to 7 email sequence that we send them prior to the webinar, and 3 days before the webinar we send them 2 email a day, right? One email is success, one email is more storytelling, one email shares success stories. So that's what you want to do in terms of the email campaign that go out. And you also want to have a targeting ad. These are very important. So the targeting ad are designed to be shown to anyone that has registered for the webinar, but in advance of the webinar. So make sure that you show, maybe reminding them to join the Facebook group, join the school community, join your Discord community. We really want them to get to a place where you are going to set up of mind. So if they sign up for the webinar but they are not in an ecosystem where they can engage, they can communicate with other people, it might be easier for them to even forget about the webinar. So here you can either remind them to join your community so that they are on time for the webinar, or just remind them to show up for the webinar. So this is the show up campaign. Now on the day of the webinar, that's where you want to actually do your pitch, right? Typically we see masterclass webinar going anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. That's kind of the sweet spot. So the first 10 to 15 minutes, that's where you just want to introduce yourself, get them to self-identify with whatever you're sharing on the webinar, and get them to be like, yes, I need this talking to me, right? That's the first 10 to 15 minutes. You showcase who it is for, who it's not for, what's the value of the webinar, what makes it unique and different, and you introduce yourself, of course, your background and all that good stuff. And then 45 minutes in the webinar, that's where you teach. So from 15 to 45, you teach, you share content, you teach them something really valuable that they might not have learned otherwise, and that further highlight what they need your offer. And then from 15 minutes onward, that's where you want to sell. So typically you can sell from 15 to 50 to maybe like 70. Typically 20 minutes to sell is good. What you do to your pitch, the offer, the value stack, and all that good stuff. And so when they get on the webinar, a couple of things might happen. Some of them are going to buy on the webinar. That's fantastic. That's why we talk about the 15 to 20% conversion. A couple of them are going to bail out, meaning they leave the webinar for whatever reason before they even see your offer. A couple of them are going to see your offer but not buy because for whatever reason, right? And some of them are not going to show up. So those are going to be your 4 buckets. So these guys, they bought that's good. Those that bail out before seeing your offer, what do we do, right? We send them. That's where the follow-up comes into play. Those that left before seeing the offer, we send them a replay of the webinar saying, hey, we were there, but we missed you because you left before the end of the webinar. Here's the replay of the webinar. Go and watch it. It's going to be available only for the next 24 hours or 48 hours, and then we're going to take it down for good. You always want to add a bit of urgency. Otherwise, they might not take you seriously. Otherwise, they might just delay taking action, because human beings, we are designed to you want to add an urgency to really drive action. That if those that actually saw the offer but they didn't buy, it wouldn't make sense to actually send them the replay because they've already seen the whole thing, but they just didn't buy. So meaning that they had objections that were not addressed in your Q&A, or that they don't have answered basically. And so for these guys, you definitely want to send them a different sequence where you highlight success stories of people working with you. Maybe you introduce some incentive. It might be a payment plan that was not offered on the webinar. Or you add a different set of bonuses that are needed for those that take action in a specific time frame, because these guys, they are at the verge of taking action. They just need one more thing to really pull the triggers. Typically what we see work really well are bonuses, payment plan, or even stories, case study of people that have seen work which got amazing result. And that's for those people who might even have another additional session, which is like Q&A session, like that you just have one day after the webinar where you actually get on the call with them and just answer questions regarding your offer, because they might just need more nurturing and more information in order to move forward, right? And those that didn't show up, again, they can treat that those that bail out because they didn't even see the whole thing. They're going to send them the replay once again. So that's literally how you want to structure the whole thing. And when it comes to getting people to know about you and to sign up for the webinar, you can use what we like to do with clients. We like to leverage their email list, because most of clients that come to work with us, they have an email list of at least 5,000, 10,000 people on there. We like to leverage the email list, and we send the email at least a week prior to the webinar happening. And we also leverage social media campaign, right? Those emails are really designed to do 3 things. That's designed to highlight the problem that they have, right? Letting them know, okay, this is why you need to be on the call. This is what you've been. This is how your current reality looks like. And if you want a better, improved version of your reality, here's why you need to get on the call. So highlights a problem that they have where they are at the moment, a pain point that they currently struggle with. It also highlights one of their core desire, right? One of their core desire that keeps them, that the market actually wants to achieve. Maybe it's quitting their job, maybe it's getting to 6 figure, maybe it's finding the love of their life. What's that? Maybe this mass desire might be, depending on which niche you serve, it might be losing that extra weight, getting rid of addiction, healing their relationship, scaling their business to 6 figure, whatever the case may be. You really have to understand what's the desire, and then definitely you want to have a proof. I've learned this from one of my mentors, Takimo. So this guy you want to have in place in order to get them on the webinar. So we like to highlight we like to have at least a 7-day email campaign that go out before the day of the webinar. Highlight the problem, promise, proof, and also your story. This is extremely powerful, sharing your story. How did you get here? What's your why? What's your vision? What's the vision that you have for them, so that they might not even see at the moment where they are? That's really powerful. People are typically led with visions. Highlight the story and why these problems matter so much to you. And that's to get them to sign up for the webinar, right? Once they sign up for the webinar, you want for the reminder email, you want to make sure that you're sending. We like to send, again, like I said here, we like to send at least 2 to 3 emails, two emails 3 days before the webinar. So every day we're gonna send 2 emails. But what about storytelling, right? And so that's what you want to have in place to actually make sure that your webinar converts. If you are just running a webinar and sending 1 email or 2 emails to your list and wondering what the heck, why is no one buying, or people are getting on the webinar but you're not following a clear sequence to get them invested in what you are, who you are, get them activated regarding their pain point, their desire, and get them to see you as uniquely qualified to get them from where they are to where they want to be. That could be the reason why you're not seeing the result that you're actually aiming for, because the process is not properly followed up, right? And so I wanted to make this video with you because that's something that we've been doing for our clients for the past 2 years and a half, and I think I've never really broken down what's the science and what's the strategy behind how we are able to get them those conversion and those results consistently when running the marketing campaign. And that's one of the biggest things that we typically pull out to get them to have better results on their campaign. So if you're looking for someone that's going to help you really build and scale a client acquisition infrastructure in your business to really allow you to scale your revenue, scale your impact without having to work a whole lot harder inside your business, feel free to reach out. We work with high ticket businesses, we work with coaches, consultants, online experts, and we really help them supercharge their growth by using end-to-end client acquisition systems. So if you got value from this video, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and you can get in touch with us. There's going to be a link in the bio where you can schedule in the description where you can schedule a call with someone on the team, or you can just shoot me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. That's where I'm the most active. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to share this with someone that it might help, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, take care.